The Avengers Doomsday trailer dropped like a day or two ago, and I'm here to do what I did with the Daredevil Born Again Season 2 trailer, and then the 2 trailers for Spider-Man Brand New Day. I am here to break it down, give my thoughts, and just talk about Marvel more, because I love talking about Marvel, and this is going to be like one of the best movies of this year. It's probably going to end up being my second favorite, right behind Spider-Man, just because I love Spider-Man. But I just love Marvel. They dropped it on a Monday, and San Diego Comic-Con is coming up this weekend, so there might be some more stuff that happens then. If there's something like worth talking about, I might make another video, because I like talking about movies and TV shows, but I want to try and talk a little bit more about Marvel. I want to make that a little bit more of a focus, just because, like, I love Marvel. But, yeah, let's just get into it. So the trailer starts off with a shot of the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters sign on the ground. Usually, obviously, it's on the post as you go through the gate going into the school, but in this, it's on the ground, and, obviously, Xavier's School has seen better days. And then you get Professor X watching what I would assume is an incursion. Because he's sitting in his wheelchair, looking out the window, and there's this big orange glow, and then it gets so bright that he like has to look away. I would assume it's probably an incursion. But while this is all going on, you get a scene of Doom kneeling, like where Doom is on the ground, and he like looks up a little bit, and he looks awesome. And while like this first part of the trailer is going on, you get a voiceover from Dr. Doom, kind of like giving off what Robert Downey Jr. is going to sound as while playing Dr. Doom. And I think it sounds really good. I think it sounds like really good, like a different accent like Dr. Doom. We haven't really had that. I don't remember what Doom sounded like in the 1994 or whenever that released Fantastic Four movie. In Fantastic Four 2005 and Rise of the Silver Surfer, he didn't have an accent. And then in Fan Four Stick, I don't think he did either. But I don't remember. So it's like the first time this, like, even if like the other ones are Doom, this is gonna be like the first one that's like probably comic accurate Doom or something like that, where he's got the accent, he's from Latveria, this and that. Like, he's probably gonna be like more comic accurate than the other ones, because like the one from 2005, 2007, even though that's my favorite and he's just awesome, they didn't really mention Latveria all that much, and obviously he didn't have an accent. In the Fan Four Stick, I don't remember. I haven't seen that movie in a while, but if they mentioned it, it was a mention of Latveria as well. And then the 1994 one, I don't remember, but like this is gonna be like the big comic accurate one. But like I think the voice sounds really good. The first line that he says in the trailer sounded a little bit like RDJ to me. I was like, oh, that's RDJ. But then the next couple of things he says sounds more like a different accent. But I don't know if that first line is just like when you hear the movie inside of the content. Sorry for that little hiccup again. My phone decided that it was going to do the same thing it did when I was making the Odyssey review, but we should be good now. If we're not, I'll deal with it. But how was that? Talking about Dr. Doom's voice, I think it's gonna be good. Like, I think he's gonna be great, and like I'm excited to see this version of Dr. Doom. But then you get Avengers Tower. You get a shot of that, and I think it's really cool that that's coming back. Obviously, it was in the first Avengers. It was in Age of Ultron, Spider-Man Homecoming. You get a little bit of it in Daredevil Born Again Season 2. And then, obviously, it returned in Thunderbolts, where it became the new Avengers headquarters. And it's just cool to see that again in an Avengers movie. And some people, like, even a building, people will be like, oh, it's just nostalgia bait. They're just bringing stuff back, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, to some extent, like, yeah, they want to bring it back. But at the same time, it's like, it's an iconic thing from the Avengers movies. And the Thunderbolts got it back in the Thunderbolts movie. Or the new Avengers movie. And it's a building. And it's like, even like that, like when people are saying that X-Men, Fantastic Four, all this are just like, oh, they're nostalgia baiting, they're bringing it back because it's like, oh, look at your action figures or something are coming together for the first time. It's like, yes, they're doing that. What's the problem? Like, we've always wanted this. We wanted the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, the Avengers to like interact, and we're finally getting that, and everyone just is complaining about it. It's just dumb. Anyway, but then you get the Fantastic Four coming off their ship with Thor right behind them, and I'm guessing that Steve will probably be there as well, just because of what happens towards the end of the trailer. And then you get a shot of Captain America, aka Sam Wilson, Bucky, and Ant-Man looking at someone. And this, again, I would expect they're looking at Steve, just because from the outline of the face, the hair matches what he looks like at the end of the trailer, and just their reactions, except for Bucky, kind of make it seem like it would be Steve, where Ant-Man's just kind of looking at him in awe, and he's just like, oh, it's him, because like in Civil War, when he met Captain America, he's like, you're Captain America, this is amazing, I'm shaking your hand too long. Falcon is kind of giving, Captain America, Steve Rogers, Sam Wilson, sorry, it's just weird, like, he's Captain America now, but like, I just remember him as Falcon, but Sam is like giving this little smile, just like, oh, he's back. And the only reason I say the only one who didn't really like give the reaction I would think was Bucky, just because if this is Steve that they're looking at, which I would expect it is, he just looks kind of pissed off. Maybe that's just the way I'm taking it, but like, he kind of looks pissed off a little bit, and it's just like, that doesn't really like seem like what Bucky would do to me, but I don't know. And then you get Thor kind of giving this little talk where he's just like, I've fought with like a bunch of different so basically I'll just do this. Thor throughout the trailer is giving a voiceover. And the basic premise of the voiceover that he's giving is that I fought with many warriors many times, all this. They've died to threats that are big and huge and stuff, and none of them scare me as much as this one does. And then he ends up ending the trailer off saying that we're going to need a miracle. And that's when Steve comes in. But, so, it's cut to make it seem like Thor is talking about Doctor Doom. And, I mean, there is a chance that he is talking about Doctor Doom, but at the same time, he could also be talking about incursions. Because an incursion is, like, this thing that, like, can't be stopped. Or at least so far. And it destroys 2 universes. So if incursion is happening, which in this scene... So this scene, you've got Bob in the, like, way corner. Like, you can barely see him unless you're, like, really paying attention. A.k.a. Sentry Bob in the corner. You basically just see his feet. You've got U.S. Agent. You've got Red Guardian in his weird Avengers with the Z suit. Yelena, Ghost, Bucky on this side. In the middle, you got the Fantastic Four. And then you've got Captain America... Ant-Man, and then Thor. And on the screen behind the Fantastic Four, there's this triangle thing with 3, like, circles. And one of them, like, they're all different colors. I would assume that's probably the Fantastic Four universe, the main 616 MCU universe, and the X-Men universe in an incursion. So all these 3 universes, I would assume, are probably in an incursion. So, when Thor says that, he's probably like, there's 3 incursions going on, I'm scared, I don't know what to do. So, he could be talking about the incursions, and I think that would be cool. But at the same time, like, if you take it the way it seems, which I kind of want to do, because it's like, this threat is just insane. Like, that's him talking about Doctor Doom, possibly. That is just great. And people have, like, this, like, they're worried that Doctor Doom hasn't been built up, which I kind of disagree with somewhat, but at the same time, like, so Thanos, how was he built up? He was in a post-credit scene for the Avengers, and he had like 2 seconds of screen time. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy for like 3 minutes, and that didn't really work into Infinity War besides him kind of wanting the stones. And then in Age of Ultron, he had a post-credit scene where he's like, fine, I'll do it myself. So, yes, he had a bit more of a build-up to Doctor Doom, and, like, the Infinity Stones were, like, the big thing, like, that brought everything together. But at the same time, you barely saw him until Infinity War. Dr. Doom was in the Fantastic Four First Steps post-credit scene for like a couple seconds, and there's a chance he's in the Spider-Man Brand New Day post-credit scene. I don't know, but like, I don't know what the post-credit scene is, but like Doom might show up. But he's going to basically have what Thanos has, where you learn about him in Infinity War, or you learn about Dr. Doom in Doomsday. Because you didn't really know nothing about Thanos before Infinity War. Besides, like, oh, Gamora and Nebula are his daughters. But, like, Doom, you know he's from that area, and that's kind of what you need to know. And what's he going after? Where Thanos had the Infinity Stones, this is all about the multiverse incursions, which we've seen before. So I think they're doing a great job. I think that Doom will be properly built up too, and like his backstory and everything. And I think it's all gonna work. But after that you get a shot of Namor, who I hate him. I do not like Namor at all. He is the worst part about Wakanda Forever. I hate his character in the comics. I don't like him in the movies. And I really hope that he's not a big part in Doomsday, and I hope he dies. And his new suit looks dumb. Like, no, it doesn't look like AI or blah, blah, blah. It just looks stupid. And then you get a shot of Black Panther, Shuri, and M'Baku. And then you get a little scene where she puts the mask on and they're about to have, like, an action scene or something fighting Namor's people. You get the Wakandans. And then in one corner, you have Joaquin Phoenix, the Falcon, who I also hate. Bucky, Ghost. And then you get, I don't know, but there was someone standing by Joaquin, Bucky, Ghost, and I think it might be U.S. Agent, but I'm not sure. And then you get, obviously, Black Panther and the Wakandans, and then in this corner, you get the Thing and Sue Storm. But I'm not sure if it's the U.S. Agent, but I think it might be. And then you get Thor coming out of the sky and landing in this ruined area, which I think might be the X-Men mansion, just because, like, the robot, there's, like, destroyed stuff around him, and it looks like Sentinels. And then there's a statue, which might be outside the X-Men mansion. And then you get a quick shot of Dr. Doom, like, kind of blurry. And then you get stairs exploding inside the X-Men mansion. You get a quick look at Cyclops, and he looks amazing. That suit is great. The visor, like, James Marsden is fantastic as Cyclops, and he's probably the character I'm looking forward to seeing the most in this movie. So, even though we get, like, 2 shots of him in the trailer, I am so excited to see him in the movie. I hope he's a big part, and I hope that he does not die, because that would piss me off. And then you get Gambit versus Shang-Chi, and it just looks fun. We haven't seen Shang-Chi since his movie, and that movie is a really fun martial arts movie. And in this, like, he's got the 10 rings, he's fighting Gambit, and Gambit's, like, holding his own. He's got his cards, he's got the staff. Obviously, Channing Tatum is playing him. He's probably not going to be as much of a joke character as he was in Deadpool and Wolverine. He's going to be more of, like, a serious character. And I'm looking forward to that. And, like, I think Channing Tatum's a fantastic actor. And I think knowing the backstory of him playing this character makes it even better. Because if you don't know the backstory, Channing Tatum had wanted to play Gambit in, like, a Gambit movie for a long time. And he just wasn't able to. Like, Fox wouldn't allow it, or it just didn't work out for a while, and he thought he would never play it. And then he obviously got to play him in Deadpool and Wolverine, and now he's coming back for an Avengers movie. I just think that's great that he finally gets to play this character that he's wanted to. And, like, I just think Channing Tatum is a great actor, so it's, like, so cool that he's gonna be in an Avengers movie. And then you get a TVA card with Loki on it, and the person who's holding it flips it around, and you got the multiversal tree that formed at the end of Loki season 2. So either this is, I would assume this is probably like a variant of Loki that was brought in to work at the TVA again. Maybe from our Loki from the series. Like, so there's gonna be like 2 Lokis in this. But the person holding the TVA card, I think, is Steve Rogers, because if you look at the finger, he's got a wedding ring on. So I would assume it's probably Steve Rogers. And then you get a quick look at Loki. He's got the TVA jacket on. And what it looks like he's at Steve Rogers' house from the first teaser trailer. Because you've got, like, a tree on the outside, and, like, just the the way the background like looks, the curtains and everything. I think it's Steve Rogers' house. And then you get a shot of Shuri walking, which you got in the 4th Avengers Doomsday teaser trailer from earlier this year that went with Avatar. But in that, it did not show the water, whereas in this one, it shows the water is like in a circle around them. So I'm guessing that either Sue Storm is using her powers to make a circle, or Namor is somehow able to do that. But you get M'Baku shaking the Thing's hand, and the Thing is accompanied by Sue Storm, Bucky, Ghost, and Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Torres, a.k.a. Falcon, a.k.a. probably the worst or second worst character in this movie. It's him and Namor. I hate those two. But you get them like shaking hands, and then you get a scene with Mr. Fantastic stretching to hold Sam Wilson back. And then right behind Mr. Fantastic is Shang-Chi, I'm pretty sure. And then you get Herbie, the robot from the Fantastic Four, with them. And then you get Yelena walking. And then it cuts to Mystique, and she turns into Yelena. And so you get a Yelena versus Elena fight. I think it looks really cool. I think the Mystique transformation looks cool. And obviously in Thunderbolts, we got like a kind of Yelena versus Elena fight scene in the Void, in like the Centuries Void thing. So it's kind of cool that in Thunderbolts and then in Avengers Doomsday, Yelena is going to be versing like herself twice. I think that Mystique's design, for the most part, looks fine. The makeup does look a bit odd at times, but it's not like the worst. The haircut, I don't like. I just think it looks dumb. But that's just me. And then you get a little bit of Professor X with Magneto, where Professor X is just kind of like putting his hand on Magneto's hand, and like it looks like he's sad, so I don't know if Magneto's dying or what. But it's going to be cool to see those two. And then you get Ant-Man and Cassie, his daughter, and he's kind of just, he kisses her on the forehead and like puts his forehead to hers. So I don't like that either, because that means that Ant-Man's probably going to end up dying. And I really like Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, so I hope he doesn't die, but he probably will. And then you get a shot of Human Torch or Johnny Storm holding someone, which it might be Sue, but I think it might be Franklin. And behind them, there's an explosion or an incursion or something going on. But I'm really excited to see Human Torch as well, because Human Torch is one of my favorite Marvel characters ever. And even though at first I did not like the idea of Joseph Quinn being Human Torch, after watching the Fantastic Four movie, I was fully sold, and I'm just excited to see this version more and more. And then you get Sue kind of like nodding, and then Shuri giving her the Wakandan salute. And then you get Sam. You get a shot of Sam Wilson kind of just like landing with his shield and then like looking like kind of distraught or something in the X-Mansion. And then you get Gambit like flipping off something, coming down with his staff. And right before he hits, if you pause it, you can see Sam over here. You see Mystique. You see Mr. Fantastic, and then you see Shang-Chi. But Gambit hits the floor and uses his powers to make like a boom. And then you get the scene that we saw in the original X-Men teaser with Cyclops without the visor, just shooting with like a sentinel behind him or something. I cannot wait for Cyclops. And then you get a scene of Sue Storm like using her powers and screaming. And then you get a scene of Namor flying, which I think it just looks dumb, him flying. Like, I think the CGI is fine and everything. I just think, like, it just, like, looks dumb. Like, the expressions he's making just looks dumb or something. Like, I think I'm just trying to find stuff to hate about him, because I do not like him at all. But, then you get Thor kind of charging up and jumping at Doctor Doom. You get kind of like the same shot of Infinity War where he's like up here with the hammer, and you get Doctor Doom like just staring at him. And as Thor comes down, he's aiming for the head, so he learned his lesson. He aims at Doom's head, and Doom stops it with 2 fingers. mind you, this Stormbreaker is the weapon that was able to go through 6 of the Infinity Stones and stab itself into Thanos. So if Doom's able to do this with 2 fingers, he's going to be trouble. I think some of how he's able to do that is that if you see on his hand, he's got like a rune. And then in like promotional images, he's got like a rune here and a rune there. And one of them looks like Mjolnir, the Thor's hammer. And obviously in WandaVision, runes protect you from an enemy. So what I'm thinking this might be is that he's able to do that because he's got a Thor rune that kind of protects him from Thor. I don't know, but that's just my guess. But like either way, he's extremely powerful, and it's just so cool. And you get a shot of like Thor like trying to push it, and he's like screaming, and then you get a shot of Doom's mask and his eyes, and it just looks so cool. And then you get the last little bit of the trailer where Thor's like, "We're gonna need a miracle." He's walking into the Fantastic Four ship. Someone says, "Hey pal," and Thor's just like, "It's not possible." So he holds up Mjolnir and like kind of holds it up so that the guy can take it, and you get a shot of the guy's hand coming up to like call it to him, and in that shot someone is in the background. Is that Steve's kid, or is that one of the Fantastic Four? Is there a chance that it's edited out and that might be Doom? I don't know. But then you get this cool shot of Thor on this and Steve Rogers on this side with a window into space behind them, and Steve calls Mjolnir to him, and then you kind of just get this little look at Thor, and he's just like, whoa. And then you get a shot of Steve smiling at him. And then you get Avengers Doomsday. You get the iconic Avengers music, the bum, 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 ba-da, that. And then you get Avengers Doomsday. You see it in Infinity Vision. It's going to be coming in December 18th of this year. And then it does the countdown clock. I loved the trailer. It didn't really show us anything new. It just kind of showed us this is what the movie is going to look like. We're going to have some action scenes. Here's some scenes of here's scenes of the Avengers fighting the X-Men, and here's some scenes with the Avengers with the Fantastic Four. And then here's a scene with Sam Wilson from the Avengers, Shang-Chi, who's also in the Avengers, Mr. Fantastic from Fantastic Four, and then Gambit and Mystique from the X-Men. So here's a shot of all of them together, and it's just like, it's so cool. Like, I'm so excited for this movie. I thought the trailer was great. I know it didn't really show us anything new, but I don't care because that's going to happen in other trailers. This trailer was one that's like, okay, so for the people who know who's going to be in it and what's going on and everything, here's a trailer kind of showing you what the movie's going to look like and some of the stuff happening. For the people who don't go online or just keep up with Marvel stuff, here's a look at what's going to be in the movie. You know, we're going to have Doctor Doom, obviously the X-Men, Fantastic Four, the Avengers, Steve Rogers is coming back, Cyclops is going to look amazing. And like, it's a really great trailer. And I can't wait for this movie. It's going to be amazing. Like, I have full confidence that it will be amazing. The only thing that would ruin it is if they kill Cyclops. Like, obviously, I would like Namor to die. I would like Joaquin Torres to die, because I don't like him. But, like, the only thing that can really, really ruin this movie is if they kill Cyclops. Like, that just cannot happen at, like, they cannot do that. But, yeah, I'm super excited for this movie. It's Marvel, so as long as Marvel keeps making movies, and I like most of them, which I have, I will continue to be the most excited for Marvel movies, more so than, like, basically every other movie. And, I mean, yeah, I know some people don't like Marvel because they just see them as, like, nostalgia, they're crappy, blah, 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 but I think that's dumb. Like, what's your favorite genre? Horror? Like, a bunch of those are the same thing. They're just trying to scare you. What's different from Marvel than that? What's different from Marvel and action movies? Superheroes in general to romance or action, like all these different genres. Like, what's the difference between those and superheroes? I know, superheroes are cooler. But, yeah, that's my breakdown of the Avengers Doomsday first trailer. I wish I had done a video on the first 4, but I didn't, which sucks. But if there's anything big and noteworthy this weekend at SDCC. I'll make a video on that, and then I heard that the last Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer should be releasing soon. So if it does, I'll do a video on that, and then obviously next week, Spider-Man Brand New Day comes out, so I'll have like 3 or 4 videos for that. X-Men 97 is ending soon. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man later this year. Vision Quest later this year. Doomsday. And then we'll just see what happens. But, yeah. I would like Marvel to probably be, like, the big thing on this channel. Like, the one I do most of, just because I love it. But, we'll see. I like making this type of video, and I hope you guys like watching it. But, if you guys want, like, more breakdowns, like, someone who knows a little bit more, well, go watch Screen Crush, because they probably know a little bit more about, like, all the comics and everything than I do. I'm trying to get more into comics, but I have not read a bunch of them, but I am reading some of them, and I guess this is my way throwing in. If you guys have any comic book recommendations, if you watch this far and you're seeing this, if you have any comic book recommendations for Marvel, put them in the comments, and I'll try and get to them. But yeah, just tell me what you thought about the trailer, what your hype level for Doomsday is, and I'll either see you for Avengers Doomsday or Spider-Man Brand New Day. So I'll see you for whatever one is next. And yeah, peace, and see you in the next one.